Hello everyone, this is Rose from Untwist Your Stitches. I am coming to you with a non-traditional floss tube today. I have recently found, let me get her name correct, Stitchy Sprinkles, and she did a floss tube a while back where she asked 28 different questions, kind of a get to know you, how do you feel about these things kind of video. And she encouraged everyone who was watching her to do their answers to the same 28 questions. So I said that I was going to do this. It's taken me a little longer than I had planned for it to do, but I am here now and we will get started with the questions. So these are, as I said, 28 questions to answer about your stitching preferences, style, that kind of thing. So sit back and let's get acquainted. Number 1, what kind of stitcher are you? Start-itis or monogamous? I'm not really either one of those. I like to have between 12 and 15 stitches or whips going at one time. When I finish one, then I replace it with a similar style of stitching. So say if I like to have birds all the time on the go. I like to have pumpkins on the go. I like to have a winter project on the go. I like to have a patriotic project on the go. So what I do is when I finish whatever project from that theme, then I'll add another one in. Now to give myself leeway, I try to keep 12 basic stitches. But right now what I'm going to do starting tomorrow is I have 2 Christmas presents to stitch for my sisters. One for my oldest sister and one for my middle sister. So instead of going on to my regular rotation item, I'm going to throw in those stitches for my sisters. So right now I have, I believe, 14 projects that are whips. This will make 15. Now I don't like to go much over 15 because that just is not comfortable for my own personal style of stitching. But that doesn't mean that others stitch the same way that I do. I have found watching Flosstube that I am not the norm. So I'm not a monogamous stitcher. I can't do that. I used to be, but I am not anymore. But I don't like to start all the things either. So I'm kind of somewhere in the mushy middle, let's say. Do you plan your projects or stitch whatever you feel like? Well, once I get them into the rotation, there's kind of a planned what's up next. However, that can change. If I need a quick, like I just said, I need these Christmas projects, I'll throw them in. That kind of mixes up the rotation. But for the most part, I like to just rotate through the ones that I've done. To me, it's fun because all of the projects that I have whipped up are projects that I love. So to me, it doesn't really matter if I jumble them or if I work on them in a rotation. But so that question is kind of, yes, I have a plan, but it's fluid. So if I need to change something around, then I can. Are you a morning stitcher or a night owl? I tend to stitch more in the afternoons and evenings. I am semi-retired, so I do kind of set my own schedule, and semi-retired from self-employed. I do still help out my husband with our business when needed. But if I'm not in the mood to get all dirty and greasy and grimy, and it's cold and I don't want to be out in the cold or whatever, I can come in and stitch in the afternoon if that's what I want to do. Night owl, I've been known to sit up until 2 o'clock in the morning to finish something that I'm in the middle of. Generally, I like to go to bed between 11 and 11:30, somewhere in that time frame. So I guess to a certain degree, I'm a night owl stitcher, but I have been known to stitch throughout the day. Do you stitch in silence with music or TV? Absolutely no silence in this house. Silence is not something that I am comfortable with. So I'll have the TV in the background, usually a hockey game, sometimes a video that I've seen enough times that I don't have to really focus on it. I do like my Audible books. I have quite a few of them in different series that I'll go through and listen to. I'm not really a music stitcher. That's not something that I normally have on, but if all else fails, yeah, I'll throw some music on, but absolutely no silence in this house. It is not comfortable for me. Are you a neat stitcher or a thread chaos stitcher? Again, I'm somewhere in the middle. I like my stitches to look nice. I like them all to go in the same direction. I like them to be, uniform in tension and that kind of stuff. However, the back of my projects, they can be a little chaotic. Now, if a bird can use the back of my project as a nest and be comfortable in it, then no, that is not good. I would have to clean that up. But the back is the back for a reason. And one of the things that just drives me crazy is stitchers who you show them a project and the very first thing they do is they flip that sucker over and look at your backs. I'm sorry, that's not what I'm showing you. I'm not showing you what my back looks like. I'm showing you the piece that I just finished. So I'm somewhere in the middle. Birds cannot nest on my back, but I do like my stitches to be uniform in the way that the crosses go and also in the tension of the thread. Do you frog mistakes right away or ignore them? I have been known to fudge on certain... I don't think I have a single project that I have done in my 35 plus years of stitching that does not have some mistake on it. So I will I will improvise. If it's something that as it's going out, like say a circle, it has to be a circle. So if it's off, of course I'm going to frog. A diamond, if it's off, it's going to show the farther you go. So I will frog that. But it has to be something that I notice pretty quickly. Or the other thing that I do is if I pick the wrong color. If it's close enough to the color that it's supposed to be, I'll just switch those, like if it's shades, if it's a dark shade is supposed to go here and a light shade is supposed to go here, and it's not really intricate to the pattern like a shadow or something like that, I'll just switch the two colors around. That doesn't bother me, so I won't frog that out. But if it is intricate to the pattern and it really needs to be the color that it is called for, then yes, I will frog. So I'm a little of both. I'm a fudger and a frogger, depending on what is going on with the pattern. Number 7, what is your favorite fabric count to stitch on? I've got 2 because I enjoy stitching on linen and I enjoy stitching on Aida. I am not an even weave person. I don't like the feel of it. It's just not something that I'm really a fan of. So I like linen and I like Aida. On Aida, my favorite is 16. On linen, it's 32. Now, I will use 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 in the Aida and have no problem with any of those. I use 28 and 32 in linens. Those are the only 2 that I am, well, and sometimes they have a 30 count, so I've used that also. But anything smaller than 32 count, I cannot see the holes. Even with my magnifying light, I cannot see the holes in anything less than 32. So I just don't buy it and I don't use it. But 28 and 32, no problem, just fine. Sometimes over 1, I've stitched on 25, I've stitched on 30. I'm not sure which other linens I've stitched on, but as long as it's no between the 28 and the 32, as long as it's in that range, I have no problem with it. Anything smaller than the 32, I just can't see, so I don't don't care for it. And I do like over-dyed fabrics. Picture This Plus. I'm currently in a club, the Digi Stitcher Linen Club. I've done Mystic Fabrics. I have done, what are some of the others? White Schultz, Linen. I can't think of some of the other names, but I've had a few of the Bestitch Me fabrics, but not really a fan of those. 8. Do you prefer full coverage or smaller designs? I have one Heaven and Earth full coverage. When I am done with that, I do not believe, I'm not going to say never, but I do not believe I'll ever stitch another Heaven and Earth design. It takes too much time. They're too big. It's not my jam. I love the patterns. I think they're gorgeous. The artwork is wonderful, but the time it takes, I prefer somewhat smaller patterns. But when I say smaller, it might not be smaller to some stitchers. I don't mind 180 by 110, and some people might think that's large. I do like quick stitches. I like stitches that I can do in 1 or 2 days and get a finish, but I like also the stitching that takes maybe 4 or 5 months. So they won't necessarily be full coverage, but they're not what I consider a small stitch. What I consider a small stitch is something that you can finish in 1 or 2, 3 days, even a week. If you need to take a week to finish it, that's a small stitch for me. Something that takes 3 or 4 months, even a year, that to me is a larger stitch, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a full coverage. So I like a range. Number 9. What color do you always gravitate towards? Well, that's easy. I gravitate towards green. I love greens. Earth tone greens, bright greens, dark greens. I like green. I also like yellow. So, and I like using those colors together. So those are the two colors that I really like to gravitate towards. I'm a little more picky with the kinds of yellows that I like, but I do like any kind of green. You give me a green and I am in heaven. Number 10, are you more into cute, realistic, or primitive styles? I don't like the primitives. I don't like I like earth tones, but I don't like where everything is earth tones. I like my patterns to be a little bit more bright, a little bit more stand out. Hey, I gotcha. I don't mind using warm colors and earth tone colors and that kind of stuff, but I am not a primitive stitcher. I don't like that kind of stitching. I'm either realistic or a little bit cutesy, cartoonish. I mean, it's hard to explain. You've probably seen some of the things I do on my channel. Do you consider those cutesy? Do you consider those realistic? I don't know. And I definitely do not like samplers. I like some of the patterns that are considered samplers, but if they have the alphabets in them, I take the alphabets out and replace it with something else. I love words. I enjoy stitching words. I'll do a quote all day long. That's great to me. But just to stitch ABC 1 through, A through Z, 1 through 0 or 1 through 10, no thank you. That's not my thing to do. So I guess realistic and cute are more what I like to do. Do you like seasonal stitching or stitch whatever year round? I stitch whatever I want year round, but I like seasonal themes. So like, as I was saying earlier, I have patriotic on the go year round. I have winter or fall on the go year round. I'm not so much into stitching a whole lot of Valentines just because I don't have that many patterns, but I do enjoy them. I do enjoy that seasonal thing. I like springtime things that I can put out for several months, starting like this month, April through June or July. I like fall notions that I can put out from August to November. So I like the themed seasonal things, but I don't stitch just in that season or time frame. Printed patterns or digital PDFs? Absolutely printed all day long, all the time. I am not technological. I don't like technology, and technology does not like me. I have heard many stories of someone going through and getting partially way through a digital pattern, and all of a sudden their device doesn't work anymore and they've lost all their progress. Now, granted, the same thing can happen with a paper pattern. However, what I personally do is I make a working copy and I mark it off with a pencil so that if I have to frog and go back, I can erase those stitches and get back to where I have frogged to and start from there. But I have not yet found a digital platform that everybody says works great, all the patterns can go into. I listened to Karen, the Stitching Owl, and she says that some of the patterns she has to put in manually. Well, I don't want to take the time to do that. So I can print off a copy of my pattern and get going right away, and it's not a problem. If I spill something on it and ruin the pattern, I've got the original in a plastic zip bag. I can go and get it and print it off and find where I am and go from there. So definitely a printed pattern all day, all the time. Do you prefer kits or kitting the things yourself? Because I have so much stash that I have accumulated over the years, I prefer to kit my own up. And the reason that I do that is a lot of times I'll change the colors that the pattern is in, that the designer has made it, and I'll change those colors. Well, if you get a kit to change those colors, then you got to go and buy the DMC or the anchor or the overdyed or whatever anyway. So you've spent all that money on getting a kit just to find out that you're going to change those colors anyway. So I prefer to kit my own things up. Now that does not mean I won't buy a kit, because sometimes you can only get that pattern as a kit, or you can only get that fabric that the designer had the model stitched on in that kit. So because of that, yes, I have been known to buy kits, but the majority of the things that I stitch, I kit up myself, just because of the stash I have and of the changes that I make. 14, favorite type of finish: hoop, frame, pillow. Whatever the pattern tells me it wants to be is how I'll finish it. Some get framed, some get made into small pillows, some get made into pillow forms where I do the envelope finish so that you can take it out of the pillow, throw the stitching piece into the washing machine, wash it up, clean it up, whatever. I've made bags. I did, in one of my real early videos, I showed you the car seat that I had, the piece that I made for my husband for our 25th wedding anniversary. I did a stitched piece, and then I took it down to the upholstery shop, and they made it into a car seat cover for the back seat of his car. I have made covers for books, I do a lot of different kinds. I have not done a stand-up yet. I have a couple of patterns that I'm going to be stitching here in not too long, and I want to do those in stand-ups. So I've done flat folds. There's just so many ways that you can finish your projects, and the more inventive or useful that a project that I've made for myself or someone else, the better I like it. So I just give me an idea and I'll try it and see if it works for my stitched pieces. Number 15, do you like busy patterns or simple designs? I like them both. I have enjoyed patterns that are very confetti heavy. I like monochromes. I like block stitching. I like 20 different colors. I like 30, 40, 50 different colors. I like them all. It's whatever the pattern is going to look like best. That's what I like. I have reduced the number of colors because sometimes it was just too much. I have added colors in because I wanted to make it more vibrant. So I like them both. So let's see, 16. Underrated supply everyone should try. That's a hard one for me. Pretty much all of the things that I use, a lot of people use. I don't know. I guess maybe try a magnifying light. That has been a godsend for me as I get older, trying to just be more comfortable stitching. I can see 14 and 16 count without it, but with it, it's just so much easier to stitch. But I don't know an underrated supply everyone should try. I really don't have anything on that one. Do you care about stitching rules? No. Cross stitching, embroidery, sewing, quilting, I consider those an art. And because they are an art, I think there are two rules that I do believe in. Do not steal other people's work and claim it as your own, even if you have modified it. If you've modified it, that's fine, but somebody else did the original work. Give them the credit that they deserve. Say, I bought this pattern from so-and-so because I did or didn't like something in it. I made the change. This is the change that I made, but it's just a modification. It is not my own work. Give the original designer the credit that they're due. Don't steal their work and sell it as your own. Don't try to pretend that you came up with this all by yourself. Yeah, there are patterns out there from different designers that are similar, but you can tell that this designer made this and that designer made that, even if they are very similar. So I don't believe in stealing from a designer. And the other thing is the thread goes through the needle goes through the fabric. Other than that, there are no rules. It is your personal preference. If you like it and you find it something that you have enjoyed and you're just thrilled with it, then that is what you should do. These people that come on and say, well, you have to always have your stitches going the same way. Maybe you don't. Maybe that's not what you like. Maybe you want it to be a little bit, what is the word? I don't want to say raggedy because that's not what I'm not being derogatory about it, but if you want it to be just a little bit different, the texture of it, if you want to use all 6 threads, all 6 strands of floss on a 32 count, and it's bulky and it's hard to pull the thread through, but that's what you want it to look like, you go for it. Don't let anybody tell you how your stitching should look or what color looks best. Yeah, you can ask for opinions, but opinions are just that. They're an opinion. They're not you. If you like it, if you like a green frog, a bright green frog on a orange fabric, do it. It's your preference. You're the one that has to like it at the end of the day. Don't let other people tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Like I said, the only thing is don't steal designers' works, and the thread goes through the needle and the needle goes through the fabric. Those are the only 2 rules I follow. 18. Thoughts on parking versus cross-country stitching. I do not park a lot of threads. Occasionally, especially on like my Heaven and Earth design, if that thread is going from one page to the next and I'm just not ready to pull that second page out, there are a few threads that I will leave off to the side that quote unquote could technically be called parking. But as a rule, to have a bunch of bobbins that have the thread twisted around them and hanging, no, I can't do that. That's not comfortable for me. That does not make me enjoy what I'm stitching. Cross-country stitching, depends on what you mean by cross-country. Do you mean take one single color and do it all the way across the entire project, no matter how far you're skipping? No, I don't do that either. I do some cross-country stitching, but it's in a limited amount of space. Now, that's just me. That doesn't mean someone else is wrong for doing it their way. Again, there are no rules. So if you want to jump all the way across to the other side of the pattern and you feel comfortable with your counting and you believe that it's in the right space, go for it. That's for you to decide, not for me to decide. What got you into Flosstube? COVID basically did. Before COVID, we had a group of stitchers that would get together once a month at different people's houses. We would rotate between different people, and one person would host and have, maybe some drinks or a dessert to share. After COVID, people were still very hesitant about going and doing that in different places. So I didn't have anybody to share my cross stitching with. I had one friend that I still have, even though I've moved to Idaho now and she's still in California. I had one friend that we would get together pretty regularly and try to do some stitching together and whatnot, but it wasn't always once a month, and I just wanted to go ahead and share with people that had a similar interest what I was doing, show my work, show my finishes, all that kind of stuff. So that was what kind of got me into Flosstube, and also finally accepting that there was some kind of, I don't want to say merit, but there was, I don't know what word I want to use. When I first heard about Flosstube, I was like, why do I want to watch someone else what they've stitched? I don't understand that. Then someone said, well, just try it. Well, I did. I tried a few, didn't really care for them. They weren't my cup of tea. And so I was still kind of standoffish on the whole Flosstube thing. Finally, I believe it was Tiger Lily was doing something, and I found her and really enjoyed her floss tubes and was like, okay, now I understand why people get excited about watching these different things. And from that, it's grown to what I do now. That kind of goes into what kind of content do you want to create, and basically what I'm doing right now, and that is just sharing what I have done, how my progress is going, the different ways that I finish different pieces. I'm not into, I have a few things in my mind that I would like to create and make as patterns, but I don't want to be a designer. I don't really want to be a model stitcher. If there's something that I can do that will encourage you to branch out in a different way, then that's great. But I'm not here to tell you, oh, look at this. This is what you should be trying, expand your horizons or whatever. Basically, it's just I'm sharing what I do and hope it gives you some joy at different times, and that it's something that will encourage you to pull your work out and work on it, or finish it, or fully finish it. 23. What is your favorite part of the stitching community? It is their willingness to share with each other. And that might mean an idea. It might mean, hey, you've got this pattern and this person has been looking for it. The encouragement and the fandom that is out there, especially for people who do these floss tubes. The just the joy of sharing is what I like, and it comes in many different ways. Sometimes you get just a note from a fellow stitcher that says, hey, I watched your video and it really touched me, or it really encouraged me, or that kind of thing. And that's the best part of the community, is the support and the encouragement that I have found through Flosstube and through just regular stitching people. How many whips is too many in your opinion? So I kind of said that at the beginning. For me personally, too much more than 15, I just can't. It gives me frustration because I want to touch all of them. Now, I have shown you just this last video, my April update. I showed you all of the things that I have kitted up that have the pattern and the fabric in them. So I can have 1 million of those. But actual whips, things that I am actually working on, that the thread is that has been put through the fabric. To me, anything more than 15 or 16, it's just too much. Now, I enjoy seeing those people that can work on that many patterns in just 1 week. Laura from Stitching by the Shore, she can work on 15 or 20 projects in just 1 week. And she has all of these whips that she can choose from. And for her, that's great. But for me, that would be, I wouldn't know what to pick next, and that would not work for me, and I wouldn't do a lot of stitching. So for me personally, 15 whips is the cutoff mark, or within that. What's your dream project that you haven't started yet? I don't know. There are so many new designs coming out. There might be one that I haven't seen yet that I just can't imagine not getting kitted up and working on. There is what is the name of that pattern? It's 3 little girls and they're flying kites. At this moment, that is kind of a dream project for me. And the reason that it is because what I see in those 3 little girls is my sisters and myself. I have 2 sisters. And when I start that project and get going on it, it's going to continually have in my mind as I'm stitching on it, these are myself and my sisters. This is myself and my sisters. This is some of the things I remember from growing up with them. This is what I remember from recent interactions with them. So maybe that one, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll go and look for it because I know I have it kitted up. And I'll put the name of the pattern in the description below so that you can go and look at it. But other than that one, and it's not like it's gnawing at my heart to get it going. It's just, it is going to be a fun one to do when I finally pull it out. Number 26. What's your stitching pet peeve? When I have a pattern, which I have right now, my heaven and earth design, and the designer uses similar symbols for similar colors. I can't tell you how many arrows and triangles they used in this particular pattern. There's a triangle that goes like this. There's a triangle that goes like that. There's an arrow here. There's an arrow here. There's an arrow here. There's an arrow down. There's there's two arrows next to each other. When a designer uses similar symbols, and also those symbols are similar in color, and they're next to each other in the pattern, it drives me crazy. There are so many symbols. There are all of the alphabets. There are all of the numbers. There are question marks and boxes and circles and all these different things. There are so many different symbols. Please, designers, do not use similar symbols for similar colors. That is my pet peeve. Let's see. So that was 26, 27. What's something you always do while stitching? Drink. I always have some sort of drink next to me. I've got a 40-ounce thermal cup with a straw in it. I always have ice water or flavored water or juice or something to drink when I'm stitching. I always try to have something right next to me at my stitching spot that I can drink while I'm stitching. But I don't know, is that what you're talking about? And finally, number 28. If you could only stitch one theme forever, what would it be? I don't know. I really don't. I don't think I could. I don't think I could choose just one theme and only stitch it. I'm a very eclectic stitcher. I stitch all over the place. I like animals. I like people. I like geometrics. I like borders. I like words. I like so much stuff that to pick just one theme would be pretty much impossible, because I just couldn't imagine only stitching one thing. I couldn't do it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't give you an answer to that one, because I don't know what it would be. I do enjoy snowmen, and I do collect snowmen, but I don't think I could only stitch snowmen, because I also like gnomes. I also like birds. I also like bugs and people. And so, I mean, it's just, I don't think I could do it. That would be a hard one to do. Okay, so we've come to the last of the 28 questions that were asked. I hope I've given you an insight into what I do and don't like. Maybe I've rambled a little bit longer than I should, but hey, that's what us cross stitchers do. We like to talk about cross stitching and about our likes and our dislikes and what we do and what we don't do. So it is kind of a ramble kind of thing, but I hope you've enjoyed what I've shared with you. And if you're another Flosstuber and you see this, go ahead and grab those 28 questions and put them together in some way. I know that Karen D, The Twitchy Stitcher has done it. And as I said at the beginning of the video, Stitching Sparkles has done it. So tag both of them and myself if you decide to answer these questions so that we can get to know you a little bit better. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful stitching day. Bye.